Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of Sell Your Own Product on Amazon for Income and Lifestyle with the emphasis on lifestyle. And welcome tonight, folks. Guys, it's just great to see you. I kind of look forward to this every Thursday night. I really enjoy it. I have a good time and I hope you get a lot out of it. Tonight, we're going to talk about private label selling on Amazon. That's what I put on the thing when I sent the invitations out and everything like that. And that's what it's about. But I don't want to be misleading about this. I'm going to tell you, because what it is comparing private label selling with like retail arbitrage or wholesale or some of the others. It's going to tell you what the differences are, how you can avoid that by being private label and all that. So like usual, I have got a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to take you over there. Now, you know, when the PowerPoint presentations are on, you can't see the question and answer app. So I will, as soon as the PowerPoint is off, I will turn on the question and answer. So save your questions, save your answers, and gosh darn it, we'll put them in just as soon as it is, and we'll get going. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you got. But in the meantime, I'm going to take you over here to where the screen share right now. We're going to go into my PowerPoint, and it's right here, and we'll bring this up. And what can I tell you? Just look at that. Selling on Amazon. What could go wrong? It's a piece of cake, isn't it? And there's a guy measuring the risk, you know, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and we're going to bring out some of those tonight and just show you exactly how doing private label will eliminate on those. But it's not, private label doesn't eliminate everything. I'm going to tell you that right up front now, but it's a heck of a lot simpler, a heck of a lot easier once you get onto it. But it's not like any of the others where you go out and take a scanner and go out and scan an item, and if the scanner tells you it's a good markup, you buy it and send it back and label it and bag it, send it into Amazon. It's nothing like that. With private label, all the due diligence, all the work is done up front. Once you do it up front, it's pretty much of a piece of cake. You just set it up into Amazon for them to tell you when it's time to reorder. You reorder it, have the product sent directly to Amazon. You don't have it sent to yourself. There's no bagging, no labeling or anything like that. You just have it sent to Amazon, and you enjoy. That's what we call the private label lifestyle, because basically you don't have to touch the product. You don't even have to see the product. Matter of fact, I've never personally laid hands on some of the products that I sell, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because I know the manufacturer, I know the type of product they put out, and I see it and everything, and I know it's a good, and by the reviews and that, I know it's a good product, and I feel good about it. And like I say, a lot of times don't even see it, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. That's what the private label lifestyle is all about. So selling on Amazon, what could go wrong? Let's talk about that tonight. What could possibly wrong? It's a piece of cake, isn't it? Well, maybe not. So what could go wrong? So what about, I just talked about, you're doing retail arbitrage, you're going out and that scouting tool gives you the wrong numbers. Now, can this happen? You better believe it happens, and I'll tell you why. It's not the fault of the person who puts the information in there. They just can't get it all in there, because a lot of times you're going to find a product, especially when you get in some of the popular categories and that's been listed in 2 or 3 different classifications, and they've also been listed so that one time it'll be under the UPC number, and the other time it's going to be under an entirely different number. And so the scouting tool is not going to give you all that. So what happens when you get back? You got back from your retail arbitrage and you bought, you cleared the shelf, wiped the shelf out, you got 2025 of this thing, you go to look it up, and you see, my gosh, the scouting tool gave you the thing, and you were thinking about making a ROI of 33%, and here you are, you're going to make an ROI of 10% because the scouting tool didn't show you exactly some of the other listings in that where they've got it listed, and you're not making, and those are the ones that are really selling. So so what are you going to do? Well, I hope you would send it listed. I hope you're not, I guess what I want to say is I hope you're not that tight on money that you can't let the same thing, and you're going to send it in under the listing that gives you the most amount of money, whether it might take a couple more months to get your money back and make your money. But, you know, there's a lot to be said for that. You know, I used to believe that the fast turn was where we're at, and then you could get as long as you could get 20% and all that, you were just doing great, making money and everything else. And that's not true, folks. I hate to tell you, when I did my income tax and got everything all figured out and everything like that, I was like 38, 40% on Amazon fees. That's not good. That's not good. And so if you're on a 20% margin, there ain't much left there, fella. What can I tell you? You're not going to make money. And so a lot of the forums got this thing where, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can, go on it. If it's going to turn fast and you're going to turn that over, you're making money at 20%. Well, I really differ with that. I don't think you're going to make enough money to make it worth your while. I don't think you're going to build a business. You're going to do a job, and you're going to do it, and you're not going to be much reward in the end. So so what could go wrong? The scouting tool gives you the wrong numbers. That happens, and that's not saying anything about the scouting tools. I used a contact 200, and with the scan power, it was an excellent combination. Gave me a lot of good stuff and everything like that. And it's not their fault. It's just that they can't give you everything. And sometimes, especially when you're in these popular categories, you have to take the time, you have to do your due diligence, and you have to look it up and see where else it's listed. Because, like I say, they're going to list different categories. They're going to list under different UPCs. It's very possible. So just do your diligence, and but that can go wrong. So what else can go wrong? What could go wrong? Product you just got a great deal on is hazmat. Now, I want to tell you something. The reason I wrote all these down, because I've had every one of these happen to me. What can I tell you? Remember, I told you when we talked about here that that I teach you out of experience, because these have all happened to me. It's not that I got to brag on I made all these mistakes, but they do. And now I'm going to tell you something about the product you just got a great deal on is hazmat. And where did I get it? A couple years ago, I thought I was doing some retail arbitrage, and I'll tell you where was I at? Oh, I know where I was at. I got it at Walgreens. There was all kind of these neat. After Christmas, they had a really good sale and all kind of kids' toys and everything. And a lot of the things I bought were ladies' dress-up kits where they dress up and everything like that. Well, it turns out all those, almost 100% of those dress-up kits have it's not fingernail polish, it's polish remover or some kind of that is hazmat in those. And you're going to get surprised. I got surprised. I bought a bunch of them. 25, 30. I think I filled the shopping cart full, got them home, got them all bagged and everything like that. Went to label it, and I found out they're hazmat. So, that hurts, because then you've got to sell them merchant fulfilled, which is not funny, because then you got to watch. And if you're going out of town, as soon as you go out of town and you're not around, that's when you're going to sell one merchant fulfilled. I can tell you that right now. That's just a given. What can I say? But what could go wrong? The product you just got a great deal on is hazmat. Okay, and then I'm sure you're aware of this. I think it's been talking about other things because we're getting close to it. On 5/1, between 5/1 and 9/30, you can't sell chocolate. I mean, you can't send chocolate into Amazon. They're not going to let you. Matter of fact, if it's there after 5/1, they're going to dispose of it and charge you for it. So between that, if you still got some left in and you got enough that it's worthwhile, have it sent back to you. Keep it in your house, keep it in your basement or someplace where it's nice and cool, and send it back in after September the 30th. But you can't send chocolate in between. So what can go wrong? You can buy chocolate. Now, let me say, with that being said, there's all kind of rumors on the forums and that. I've seen it too. We're saying, oh, you can't sell. That includes chocolate chip cookies and things like that with chocolate in, and that's not true. I sent chocolate chip cookies in year round. I still do. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about pure chocolate, like a chocolate bar, chocolate Easter bunnies, Hershey bars, or anything like that are pure chocolate. You can't send them in. So what can I tell you? No chocolate into Amazon between 5/1 and 9/30, period. But you can send chocolate cookies in, chocolate cake mix, and stuff like that. There's no problem. So just don't. No chocolate means no chocolate, solid chocolate candy. Okay. What could go wrong? Your competition uses a repricer. Man, I'll tell you, you're talking about something that will drive you crazy. You've got this neat product you bought at a great margin, 40% margin. You bought it. You send it in. And what happens? Some newbie, some guy that doesn't know what he's doing comes in, once in the forum and said he should go get a repricer. So he goes and gets a repricer, gets it. He doesn't really know how to set it up. So he sets it just whenever the competition goes, he sets it for himself 10 cents lower or 15 cents lower, whatever yours will let you do or something like that. And so what happens? You put it, so every time he marks it down. If you put it $5.95, and he's going to come down and he's going to go $5.85, and then you're going to go $5.75 and everything. And what happens is his doesn't shut off, and you don't know it. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to mark it down to past the pace where you're making any profit, and then you're losing money. You're losing money on the table. So watch it out. If your competition uses a repricer, let him go broke. Set your price right above where you can make money, and then let him go down. Let him go down and let him lose the money and let him sell out, and then you sell. But there's no use of trying to fight it. For God's sakes, don't get in that war to go down to below cost or anything like that. Don't do it. Life's too short to fight a repricer. Let me tell you that. Don't worry about it. So what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Your competition decides to limit inventory, regardless of cost. And this I've seen happen quite a few times, especially when you get on some of the forums, they talk about you need to go out and get this at Source Toys and everything else. Of course, this was made around November or something like that, but the person doesn't see it until January. So he goes out and gets all these toys and everything out, and then realizes that, hey, man, these ain't going to sell until November. I mean, you're going to sell a few, but you're not going to sell very many. So they decide to eliminate the cost, and you're stuck right there. So what do? You just wait it out. All right. Now this one here, product gets recalled. I thought I had missed all that, and I've been really lucky but I just got caught. You remember this last month, or last 2 months, I guess it was, whenever they came out with the Kraft macaroni and cheese recall. Guess who had some macaroni and cheese 3-packs? Ooh, me. What can I tell you? Walmart had a heck of a deal here about maybe 7-8 months ago. Man, they had stacks and stacks and stacks of 3-packs of Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I bought a ton of those, a couple stacks of them, and I sent them in. Well, thank gosh, the recall just happened a couple months ago, and by then I was pretty much sold out of them. But I did get some that had to be destroyed because products get recalled. And this is just a thing of that's what could go wrong with your selling on Amazon. What could go wrong? Products get recalled. So then 12 other sellers with large inventory get on an item. All right, time for another one of Terry's stories. Like I said, each one of these things that can go wrong, I've had happen to me, and that's the reason I'm putting it on here, and that's the reason I'm telling you about it. Last year, it's not last year, it's a year before last, right after Christmas in January, I had a chance to buy a large lot of a really popular children's game. I bought 350 of them. Nothing wrong with that. I bought them, but so did 9 other people. Had a chance to buy it. We split the lot. We put them on there. Lo and behold, all 9 of us listed them on Amazon. Well, for one thing, we bought these in January, and if you know anything about toys and especially games and stuff like that, they don't really sell that much. You're going to sell a few throughout the year, but most you're going to sell them in November and December. You're just going to get them and they're going to fly off the shelf. Especially in December, they will just fly. They will fly. So what happened? I bought 350 of them. I set them in there, and I set them with the other person. We set them right about I forgot what it was, double the cost or whatever it was. And we were making money, and it was good money or anything like that, but nobody was selling anything. So come 7-8 months later, about September, October, I'm thinking, man, I need to lower the price, get some of these out of here, because I knew they'd sell at Christmas time, but I just didn't know well, and I wanted to get the ball rolling and move some money. So I set them down. Well, you know what happened? 5 of the other 9 set them down too. And so we finally set them down. Come into November, we were right at cost. All of us. We had set it down that much because it just followed me. We set it down. And so you know what happened? Out of that 350, I sold a little over 200 in November and December. Now, I didn't make any money on them. Like I say, we sold them at cost, didn't make any money on. But then you know what happens come January? We get hit with this thing from Amazon, nice little letter saying, "Hey, Terry, we love you, man, but you've got too much inventory in stock, and we're going to have to charge you." As a matter of fact, they were going to charge me, I think, 250, because I had like right at 100. At this point, I had like 130, 140 left, something like that. So they said, "We're going to have to charge you inventory cost if you don't do something with these." So I had the Amazon send the products back to me. Wasn't much else I could do because we were already down selling them at cost and they weren't moving. So I had them all sent back to me. I got all these nice boxes, a pallet of them that came from Amazon, and what can I tell you? With some other stuff, I had wasn't more stuff than just that, but I had some that need to get out of there. So I brought them in and got them in, and now I'm in the process of sending them back. Thank God. The other sellers, for some reason, I don't know what they did with theirs. Maybe they sold them out to a broker or something like that, but they're not back on, and I'm the only one on the product, and it is selling. Not at a lot, but those 144, I'm going to make a heck of a lot more than I made on the, or the 140, whatever it is. I'm going to make a heck of a lot more on those, it looks like, than what I made on the 200, because I lost money on that first 200. So that's why I say 12 other sellers with large room to get on your items. So what could go wrong? That's what can go wrong. You know, what can I tell you? Life happens, and that's what happens. So why are these so important? Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. Excuse me just a minute. I want to get a little drink of water here. Why are these so important? Because it affects your bottom line big time. And I don't know about you, but me, I'm not in this business to lose money. I didn't take my product and I put it in. I expect to make money. That's why I say you've got to watch it. You got to watch it big time, because my Amazon fees last year were, I worked on them. I'm going to get those down. So help me, you know, I've just got to watch it, because it really affected me last year, the Amazon fees. So like I say, 38 cents out of a dollar, that's way too much. So so why are these important? Because it affects your bottom line big time. It stops your cash flow. You know, if you don't have that cash and it continues flowing and everything stops, you stop. It stops your momentum. You lose your momentum, and you can't pay for new inventory to get returned. So what I don't know, you know what I'm saying. You have to pay to get the inventory returned to you. Like I say, I had to, otherwise I could have paid Amazon to dispose of it for me. And that's what I've got my next thing. You can pay Amazon to get inventory disposed of. But to me, that's kind of I would rather make 25, 30 cents than to throw $1's worth of stuff away. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. So I return it, and then I send it back in. But that's not the way to do it. So what I'm saying is that's why these things are so important. You need to watch it. You need to affect your body. It needs to affect your bottom line big time. It needs to stop your cash flow, and you have to get the inventory returned, or you have to get the inventory disposed of. And you don't want to have to do those. These are stuff that all I went through, and what I'm trying to teach you and what I'm trying to show you is how not to have that happen to you. So so that's why they're so important. I think the best one, this speaks for it all, affects your bottom line big time. Okay, can it get any worse? Yeah. Yes, it can get worse. Amazon could suspend your selling privileges. When they suspend your selling privileges, it freezes your inventory. Your Amazon, I presume now you're selling, like I say, FBA. It freezes your inventory. Your inventory's there. You can't sell it, and Amazon's not going to give it back to you, at least not right away. It freezes your bi-weekly payout. Amazon's going to hold your money. and they're not allowing you to send new products into Amazon. So basically, you're out of business, and they've got your inventory, and they've got your money. Now, eventually, they have to return it to you, and you're going to get it back. But it's not going to be something that you're going to happen in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4. It's going to take 2 or 3 months. A good friend of mine, John Grollo, this happened to him last year. Matter of fact, I think it was right around this time of year, John John is a good seller on Amazon. Don't get me wrong. The man at that time was doing 60, 70,000. Now he's doing well over 100,000 a month. But he's a good seller. Sells a lot of groceries, a lot of everything. He's changed things. So I really haven't talked to him so much in the last 3, 4 months. So I don't know exactly what he is. The last time I talked to him was last year at CES. We had a good conversation. But John's a good man. And what happened was, it was all because he'd gotten a letter from Amazon. And you get these letters from notices from Amazon. I don't know how many you get, but I probably get 30 to 40 a day. When a product's sold, or when something's sold, or they send replenish inventory or something like that, and I missed some, and that's what happened to John. John says he noticed it, didn't pay too much attention, put it to the side, and then a couple months later, Amazon comes and they suspended his selling privileges. Now, like I say, it took him 2, 3 months to get it all ironed out. He eventually got his product back, got his money back, but I'll tell you what, when you're doing 60,000 a month and Amazon's sitting there holding 2 months, $120,000, it's going to make you wonder. It's not something you want to sneeze at. So what can I tell you? Can it get any worse? Yeah, Amazon can suspend your seller privileges. And like I say, when they freeze your inventory, freeze your payout, that's what hurts, and not allowed to sell new products in. John got over it, got it settled with them, had to write some letters of apology and things like that. And I was going to try and find the link, because John's given his testimony on a couple of spreecasts and all that. I was going to try and find it, but I was done so far back I couldn't find any of the links, and I didn't get around to asking about it. If I do, you might want to check if you're around. John Grollo is his name. He runs like I say, he's a powerful Amazon seller and is a good Amazon seller. But he did get his selling privileges suspended. So that can happen. That's about as bad as it can get if you're an Amazon seller. So what makes private label selling different? Well, it's basically, we talked about the things. For those of you who just joined us, to see we got some new people joining us, and welcome. I appreciate you showing up, and what can I tell you? But this here, we went through the first on scanners, and we talked about scanners not giving the right information, because I'll be honest with you, there's too much information, and the scanners just can't put it all on there, and that's one of the reasons for it. So, you're not using the scanner. That's what makes private label selling different. You're no scanners. You're not sitting in the store with a shelf full of merchandise trying to decide, should I buy it or should I not? Do I have the information? You don't have to go through that, because you're not buying products on impulse. That's one of the things we teach you in the course, is to get down, and we've got sheets. You go through and you mark off and you check off, and you check off the number of reviews, the number of sellers, the number of this, number of that, and I'm not going to go through all that tonight, but we give you those sheets to check off so you can do your due diligence. You know exactly where that thing. Last week we talked about a new tool called the Jungle Scout, where you can put it on on that, and then it will give you the number of the estimated number of the product the estimated number of the product that you're researching, the estimated number that it'll sell in a month, and the estimated number of dollars it's going to produce in a month. So to me, that's important, and that's where you're going to make your decisions on. You're not going to make your decisions on a scanner. Like I say, I had the Contact 200, I believe it is 2000 or 200, whatever it is, and with scan power, and they did a great job. Not knocking them, any of those whatsoever, but they don't give you all the product. They don't give you all the everything you need. on those. And so you're making a lot of impulse buys. And when you get back and you come back and find out, well, after you get them all bagged and everything like that, go to label them and go to list them, that man, they're listing selling for a lot less than what you thought. So that's one of the biggest things about makes private label selling different, is you're not buying products on impulse. And we talked about going out and buying a product and having it declared hazmat. And we talked about a lot of kids' makeup kits are hazmat because they have like makeup remover, they have those paint by numbers. Some of their oil paste, they've got a little bit of paint thinner or something in there with them that the kids can wash their brushes with, and that makes them hazmat. And Amazon is what they consider hazmat. Anything that is flammable, they're not going to have it in their warehouse. So take that with a grain of salt and just remember it. If it looks like it and it smells like it and it's flammable, it's hazmat according to Amazon. So keep that in mind. Like I say, a lot of the little kids sets, costume sets and stuff like that come with flammable material in it. So you're going to find out that they're hazmat. And I don't care what type of how good a deal you got on or anything else. Amazon's not going to let them in the warehouse, so that means you're going to have to merchant fulfill them. And like I say, if they never sell merchant fulfilled until you're not around. The day you leave town, go out of town, that's the day you're going to sell them. So you have to mess around and merchant fulfill and box them and ship them and label them. And that's a bunch of nonsense. I'm 72 years old. To me, that I don't want to be doing that anymore. I enjoy my Amazon, the private label lifestyle. I get up, do my stuff in the day, prepare for you guys on one of these Google Hangouts and that, and then I do what I want to do. So what can I tell you? And then we also talked about chocolate. It's from May 1st to September 30th. You can't send it in, and so you need to be aware of that and use your due diligence. And you'll know what's meltable. There's Amazon's got all those reports in there. You just have to go into the Amazon Seller Central and you type what you want to know in that little message bar up there at the top. And Amazon is really sharp, I'm going to tell you, as far as producing for you. You can put it in. If you do a halfway job of using keywords and that, it's going to come in and it's going to pop up what you need to know. But if you can't get it or something like that, give me a shout. I'll be glad to look it up for you. But you'll know what's meltable. And like I say, there's a lot of things going on the forum. I repeated this, that says you can't send chocolate cookies in. You can send chocolate cookies in. You can send chocolate cookies in 365 days a year. Amazon will take them. It's just plain chocolate. Hershey bars, any candy bar with a lot of chocolate in it that's going to melt. The chocolate chip, the chocolate chips and the cookies, they get soft, but it doesn't melt. It doesn't, and you shouldn't have any trouble with this. And the reason for it, I said this is because I don't know whether you know it or not, a lot of the older Amazon warehouses do not have air conditioning. And believe me, when you're here in Florida and it's 92, 93 degrees outside in the summertime and 100% humidity, you need air conditioning. If you don't, your chocolate's going to melt all over. What can I tell you? And that's pretty much all over the United States. So I say, just bear that in mind and use your own common sense. But so what makes private label selling different? Doing private label selling the way we teach, you have no direct competition. Okay, we're talking about our course here, and the way we teach that course is you have no direct competition. In other words, if you're doing private label, we teach you to go to Amazon and we give you the criteria and everything to look for and do that. And you find a product, you source it over in China, or you source it here in the United States. We give you plenty of places here in the United States to look for, to have it. And we teach you how to do that, and you get your product made the way you want. But one thing we teach you right up front is not to duplicate anything. Always take this product that you're going to sell and make it better. Now, I can't say it much more plainer, but I'm going to say it one more time. Don't ever duplicate a product. You take the product, that you're competed against, and you make it better. Period. That's what we talk about the perceived value. It doesn't have to be anything great, but just enough so the perceived value of your product is more than your competition. And besides that, you can. That's what we're talking about, ROI and your selling price and everything like that. When a product is perceived as being worth more, you can charge more. And that's what we want. We don't want you, I don't want you to be selling at 20%. I want you to be selling at 33 at least, if not 40, 45, because that's the way you're going to make money. At 20%, no. Unless you got a product that's #1 in some category and it's just flying and you're selling 1,000 a day, you could probably make money at 20%. But just in a regular product that's up there around 300-400 or something on a rank or something like that, you need to get 33, at least 33%, if not 40 to 50. So I can't tell you that enough. But that's what makes private label selling. Add to your competition. Whatever your competition's selling, make yours better. What makes private? You're not going to get recalled, like we talked about with my Kraft macaroni and cheese. It got recalled. Probably your private label item is not going to get recalled. I'd say you probably got a 99.9% chance that it'll never get recalled. What can I tell you? And the biggest thing that makes private label selling different, it's your product. There are no other sellers on your product. They can get it. It's your product. It's your UCC, your label, your thing. Now, other sellers can try to get on your product, and they can maybe list on your product. But if you know what you're doing and do like we teach you in the course and everything like that, you get a hold of Amazon and prove that what's yours and the UPCs are not the same and everything like that, and they will take it off. And another thing, I'll be honest with you, I've never had to do that because I've had 2 or 3 times people have gotten on my product and listed other, listed things, saying this thing name is sell is mine, and it's another product altogether. And I have just, I'll be honest with you, when I found it, I've just sat down and wrote them just a really nice little letter and explain to them that I am the manufacturer of this product, and this product is a branded, or we're going to call it, and that you're on mine, and there's no way you can be selling this product because you'd have to buy it from me, and I did not sell it to you. So before I call Amazon and report you, I just thought I would be courteous and give you the chance to take your product off of my listing. And I'll be honest with you, the longest it's taken is 12 hours to get the product off the listing. They've just taken it out, and there's been no problem. Matter of fact, they one time they called and thanked me for letting them know they had made a mistake, they said, and I let it go and never said anything more about it. But what can I tell you? You've got to protect your product. There's no other seller on your product, and because of that, I'm going to tell you. And it's your baby. What makes private label selling different? It's your baby. When it's your baby, you can control how it grows. You can control your product. And that's what makes private label so different. You control it from the start to the finish. You set the promotions to your time schedule. You don't worry about somebody else's time schedule. When you're sourcing a lot, you have to worry about when I used to sort cookies, and I sourced a lot of Keebler cookies. And you'd have to wait because Keebler had a set schedule, and certain times of the year they would promote like heck, and other times of the year they didn't promote very much, and so you were scrambling around trying to get enough products. So and you don't have to worry about that because with private label, it's your baby. You set the promotions to your time schedule, and you control how it's sold. What I mean by how it's sold was it a 1-pack, a 2-pack, a 3-pack, 4-pack, or whatever it is. You control how it's sold. You don't have to worry about Procter & Gamble or anybody else, how they're selling. You control how it's sold. You sell it the way you want with your label, with your product. You set the coupons and advertising your way. What can I tell you? You set the coupons and advertising your way. It's your product. You know, when you buy, say if you go to Amazon right today and buy a blender, some kind of a blender, and it gets sent to you, you open that box at home and you open the blender box, and I guarantee you there's going to be a love letter from whatever brand you bought it from, explaining not only the warranty on the blender, but also how, I bet you any amount of money, there's a coupon in there for some other product, or a place to go and sign up and register, and you're going to get coupons, or you're going to get percents off, or anything for that, for other products of that. Now, it's your baby. People, you can do the same thing. Let me tell you that. Let me say it one more time. You're allowed to put coupons, and you're allowed to put advertising inside. You're allowed to put a love letter to your customers in your product. And Amazon will not say a thing to you about it. Matter of fact, they rather expect it, because I guarantee all the big companies do. So why can't you? That's the thing about doing private label. You're the company, you're the big company, and that's your product. And you can put advertising in your thing. You can send your people customers a love letter and let them know how much you care for them. And just to show you appreciation, you can send them coupons that they can use on your other products. Wow, isn't that neat? Amazon sets that up for you, and you can do it, and they don't care. I don't care what they say on the forums like that. Amazon expects it. Like I say, you go home and you open that blender that you just bought, or whatever you bought from Amazon, and pick it up, and if it's a big company with you know what I'm saying, if it's a big company and all that, they're going to have advertising in there. They're going to have a guarantee. They're going to have a love letter to their customers and everything else. And you should be doing exactly the same way. If you're not, you're leaving money on the table, bukus of money. So what can I tell you? The last thing, it's your baby, so you can set the price to your ideal margin. Now, let me tell you something, folks. I said that 20% is not going to get it. I know you're going to hear over in the forum that it's a fast turn, and boy, if I'm making 20%, 20% is bigger than nothing, better than nothing, and that's a bunch of hooey. You know, if you got a product that's number one in a category or something like that, and you're selling 1,000 a day, yeah, maybe so. Maybe you can make money at 20%. Matter of fact, you probably could. But I'm going to tell you, and there may be surprises when you're selling 8, 9, maybe 20 a day. You ain't going to make it at 20%. You need to get that thing up there where you're making 35, 40% or better. That it's business, folks. You need to make money to stay in business. You know, like I said, what can I tell you? And you got to watch the Amazon on their prices, you know, and especially with the new freight. Now, I'm not going to get stuck in that tonight, and I'm not going to talk, because I've talked to Baloo of the Faith, quite a few others on these other hangouts, and that you go get some of those and look at them. But you gotta watch it. You're a business, for God's sakes. And that's the other thing. When it's your baby, you're creating a business. You're not creating a job. You know, people are not going to buy a job. When you go to sell, if you get to my age and you want to retire, and if you want to start taking it easy and stuff like that, if you're the person doing the sourcing, you're doing the labeling, you're doing the packaging and all that, and you're sending in, folks, that is a job. That's spelled J-O-B. And you're not going to get any money for your business. But if you're selling private label and you're sourcing it from wherever you source it, and that whoever you source it from sends it right directly to Amazon, all labeled and priced and everything ready, set to go, you don't have to touch on it. That's a product made, yeah, I wouldn't say made in heaven. I guess maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's a marriage made in heaven. You know, that's what you want, because that's sellable. And do you know how many people are sitting out there with money that they would love to buy your business? They don't have to do anything except there. And when Amazon tells them it's time to reorder, they reorder the product, have it sent right to Amazon. Don't touch it. They just pay the bill, and Amazon sends them a check every 2 weeks, or deposits money. Man, that's what, there's people out there just looking for that. And I guarantee you advertise a business like that with those types of terms and everything, and you'll be sold within a week. You know, I told you, I used to do websites and all that, and I'd get them up there to where they were making at least $1,000 a month or better, and I'd put them up for sale, and I never had one over a week before it sold. There were just all kind of people, and they're glad to get it, because it's a set and do thing. They don't have to learn anything new. They don't have to do anything. They just have to, when Amazon sends them that notice, they order it, send it in, pay the bill, and that's it. And Amazon puts money in their account every week. People, there are so many people out there looking for deals like that. So that's why I keep talking about this. You want to set yourself up to win. You want to set yourself up to build a business that you can sell, and not a business that's a job, J-O-B, because you're not going to get anything for it. Nobody's looking to buy a job, but they are looking to buy a business. So with that being said, I'm going to stop this screen sharing, because that's it, and that's my PowerPoint presentation for tonight. Now we're going to get over here, and we're going to let's take down the showcase, and let's put up the question and answer period right here. So I hope you can see it. It's over here on my right. I think it's still in the same years. I get confused whether it's over here, it's over there, but it's on my right according to here like that. But there's your questions. Be glad to take any questions anybody's got. Wow, I didn't realize I took almost 42 minutes. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm getting windy in my old age. What can I tell you guys? But I'll be glad to answer any questions you've got concerning anything, private label, wholesale, retail arbitrage, anything I can help you with. I would be glad to. You want to stick to the private label, that's fine. There's a place over there, put your questions in. I know there's a little lag like here. We still got quite a few viewers on here, so ask away. I would be glad to spend it. Meanwhile, while you're thinking of a question there or whatever, I'm going to have a little drink of water here. I know what, I don't know if any of you, I got a email today from a gentleman who was on last week. Remember we talked about that Jungle Scout tool, and he went out and he bought one, and he's been trying it out, and he wonders how accurate the number sold and the dollar amount sold are. And I said I had tried it with it, and I thought it was fairly accurate. But then on some of the forums I've got on, I heard and a couple of people that I respect say they didn't think it was. So I'm just asking if anybody of you've got any firsthand knowledge, or you tried it any of your products and you see how it come out. I'd really be interested in the answer, because I've tried it on the products I got, and I think it comes very close. It's come within 5%, which I think is a good, because when you put that on something and it gives you the number of units it's expected to sell and the number of dollar amounts that it's expected to sell, if you come within 5%, I think that's great for a resourcing tool. You know, you're not going to get one that's going to tell you exactly, because there's too many variables in there in that. But so if anybody's got anything, if you could put it right here, I have no problem with that, because I think Jungle Scout is a one heck of a good tool. But you let me know. Let me try. You know, and I would really be interested in seeing that. So other than that, guys, I need some questions up here. I just let me see what I know. I had a question. We have new members of the course that just joined in the last couple of days, and they were asking about putting together private label bundles. And I've done a little bit of it. I've got one bundle up right now that really did really good for a year, and then this last year it's not really done too good, and I don't quite understand why. I wish I did. I wish I had a magic cap I could put on and just give me all these answers, but I don't. What can I tell you? So if anybody's had any experience with private label bundling and how you've been doing, whether it turns out pretty good or not, because the biggest drawback I can see is if the products aren't available from the same supplier, then that means you have to have one product sent to you, and you have to have a second product sent to you, and then you have to take them and you have to bundle them and you have to get them ready and then send them into Amazon, which is adding a lot of cost on to the product. Now, personally, I think when I'm thinking of a private label bundling, I'm thinking, because I always teach, or one thing we teach emphatically is that you take your product and you make it better. So if you're making oh, well, I got some spoons, some bamboo spoons. If you're selling some bamboo spoons or something like that, one thing to make that product better would be to give a recipe book or some recipe tips with that product. And that's the way I've always considered a bundle or something like that. Now, I advertise that on there, and because that's one of the things that makes it hard to do, because if it's your recipe book and you've got it all set up, and you can go to I don't know if you can get one on Fiverr, but you can get oh man, there's so many places out there where you can get an ebook written for you for, say, $150. If you're selling 1,000 units or something, and you have to spend $150 for the part that makes it different from anybody else, makes it perceived value better because people will buy from that. I've got some billiard products I do, and I had a little ebook written which on billiard tips. What can I tell you? You got to think outside the box, but you got to make your product better. And where am I going on this? Oh, the bundling thing. So, and that's what I consider a bundle. But I suppose if I could get it from the same manufacturer, let me see, you could probably put, if you were doing pool supplies or something like that, you could probably put a pool cue, maybe some 5 or 6 pool cue chalks, or something like that, and maybe you could put a well, I don't know about a polishing cloth. You could probably put a polishing cloth, but I don't know, maybe more like a break or a bridge, what they call it, or something like that, in a set, as a bundle or sell or something like that. I don't know. I'm just wondering, because I want to add some stuff to the course on bundles, and and I think the way with bundles is you got to think outside the box. Like a vanilla cake and a chocolate cake mix. I don't know. That doesn't really turn me off or turn me on too much. So what can I tell you? But that's what we're talking about. So I don't know. Nobody's got any questions tonight, guys. What can I tell you? I'm just not going to keep going and talking here as much as I love you guys. I'm going to tell you, because we finished the product, we're talking about, and nobody has a question. So if anybody don't, I think I'm going to wait about 1 more minute here, and then I will wave goodnight, say goodnight, and I see you next week. But anyway, this is your chance. I'm here to answer questions, and I'd be glad to help you any way you want. So what can I tell you? So long, farewell. I'll be to saying good night. What can I, I'm going to sing here. So I don't see any questions up there, and I think it's been according to me, it's been 50 minutes. So I enjoyed this broadcast. Oh, wait a minute. Sure, go ahead, Ron. I'm getting a question from Ron. So shoot me your question, Ron. Hello, Ron. Good evening, Ron. Just wondering. Oh, let me put it up here so everybody can see it. I'm sorry. Hold on. Just wondering if I should start with the private labeling or start at a different point. Oh, point. Just wondering if I should start with the private labeling or start at a different point. Boy, that's a good question. I'll be honest with you, Ron. I started private labeling. And then when I did the private labeling and I decided I wanted to teach private labeling, I went and I learned the retail arbitrage, I learned the wholesale, and I learned the other types. The only thing I've really never done is I've never done any thrift store shopping. I've been in a couple times and I decided that wasn't for me, and I don't like that. And God bless, there's a lot of people out there that do it, and that's one of those things I consider a job, and that's okay. So if I should start with the private labeling or start at a different point, I'll be honest with you. I think you're going to be money ahead if you've got the money to put into stock. I think if you're gonna private label, I think you should have probably a minimum of $5,000 to get and I think that's a minimum to get a good start. So you get some product in, you get some product rolling. With 5,000, you should be able to get 3-4 good products, maybe more than that. Depends on the MOQs and all that. But the only problem is starting with private label. It's like I say, if you don't have a lot of money to put into it, if you've only got 5,000, you're going to find all these products and you're going to get them, and you're probably going to be bored because you're going to sit back and just waiting for Amazon to send you your check so you can send more stuff in. And but I'm saying if you're doing it part-time, I would definitely go the private label, because you can do the private label a heck of a lot easier part-time than you can do like retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage takes a lot of time. You can make good money at it. It's a job. You're building a job. You're not building a business. But if you do retail arbitrage, you go out in the morning, you fill the shopping carts, find the products you want, bring them back in the afternoon. I still got my bench over here. You bundle them, you label them, and you send them into Amazon. And believe me, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. So if you're just doing it part-time, I wouldn't do it. I would go with private labeling, because private labeling, all the work is done up front, and you pick out that product, you use our specifications and that, so you're pretty much assured that when you got a product, it's going to sell. Because if you do what we teach you, now I'm not standing here saying we're perfect, but man, we've got a good track record. And what can I say? The products we teach you, and we teach you how to do it, that they're going to go. So I hope that answers your question, Ron. I don't. Let me see. And that's the way about private label. Private label, everything's done up front, but it's not the point where like retail arbitrage and wholesale is kind of in the middle, because wholesale, you're selling other people's products. And the problem with wholesale is there's people I guarantee if you got a good winner in there, within 3-4 months, you're going to have more people on it, because they've got all these tools out and everything like that. People are going to find out what's selling, and they're going to come right in on top. Because if you can buy it from a wholesaler, somebody else can too. Matter of fact, that wholesaler's pretty much, as long as they got the money, it's pretty much got to sell it to them. So I don't know what to say. Hey, Ron, let's put it up here. Ron says, thanks, that's a big help. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's what we're here for. And I hope that gives you some insight. Like I say, I started private label, and then it wasn't until I decided that I wanted to teach private label that I went out, because I figured I had to learn what I was up against, what the other retail arbitrage and wholesale and all that, what they taught, what you had to do, and the amount of work. And that's the reason I did before I started teaching this. So I knew about everything else. So that's it. So listen, that puts it 8:55. Ron, thanks for a lot, and all the rest of you guys out there. I see there's quite a few out there yet. So we're going to say good night. I really appreciate you. And like I say, look, and you can sign up for favor me on YouTube or on Google Plus, and you'll get a notice every time we have a hangout or something, and what the products is. You can also Terry Shire at gmail.com, and you can get a hold of me and get them home in the Facebook and during Bamboo, or my website, privatelabelselling.com, and leave a comment underneath there, something like that. I'll get it, and I'll be glad to get back to you. Ask me some questions, tell me what you need, and be glad to help you out any way I can. So with that said, I shall see everybody next week. I appreciate you. You have a good week, and we